All right, troops, welcome to the Action Elite. My name is Owen. Got a full squad here tonight. We got Stephen, we got J-Man, we got John, we got Sean. How are you all doing, guys?
Awesome.
But it's Friday.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
And what better way to celebrate Friday than spending time talking about Showdown in Little Tokyo while fish off naked chicks. So that's going to be our Friday night. So I can't believe it's 30 years ago that this movie was released. I think it was actually August 23rd. It was Monday, but I was like, I'm not doing a live stream on a Monday. That's horrible. So I thought maybe I'd do it tonight, and we can talk about, maybe Rapid Fire and The Crow, and some of our favorite Brandon Lee movies as well. But first of all, we're going to talk about the absolute classic that is Showdown in Little Tokyo, starring the late great Brandon Lee and Dolph Lundgren. Which, for me, I got to say, the movie is beyond criticism for me. Yes, I mean, people could be like, oh well, maybe there's some acting or dialogue, or like, no, it's faultless. I'm sorry, sir, but you're incorrect. This movie is amazing, and that is it. So I'm going to start off with you, J-Man, and when were you first introduced to it, and what are your thoughts on Showdown in Little Tokyo?
I don't remember when I saw it, but I rented it or whatever, and I was aware of Brandon Lee, and Dolph Lundgren is like my favorite. Like him and Van Damme are like my two heroes, and Schwarzenegger too, I guess, are the three. But like the thing is, Dolph Lundgren was Punisher, who was like one of my favorite characters of all time when I was younger, and kind of still is. And he was He-Man, who was like my super favorite character of all time ever until I grew into Conan. He-Man was the gateway to Conan. So Dolph Lundgren in this movie is like gold, and Brandon Lee's awesome too. And they reversed it. So Dolph Lundgren is the guy who's all into the Japanese, like Asian culture, and Brandon Lee's like, he's like, I like shopping malls and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so cool. So this is something that you guys didn't know, but I was actually able to find the documents from this movie, from the actual conception. So this is the notes that they wrote while making this movie. And they literally said, we need buddy cop, ninja stars, martial arts, rape, revenge, nudity, explosions, like, sword fights. I'm like, holy shit, right? Like, so, obviously I don't have the notes that were from that movie, from that boardroom meeting, but that's what I think it was, because I started to make notes. I started to write notes while I was watching this movie, and I'm like, what am I making notes for? If it's happened in any other action movie, it happens in this movie. I cannot think of anything that they've missed. I start to try to really think, is there something they're missing? I'm like, yeah, but there's got to be ninja stars. Oh shit! And then like at first I thought, how's there no ninja stars in this? And then right at like an hour and 50, ninja stars. I'm like, I can't believe it. And every Asian actor that's ever been a villain in anything has been cast in this movie.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And then watching it now, I realize I'm like, oh shit, there's friggin' Master Tetsu from Ninja Turtles. Right? Of course, Shang Tsung. But it's crazy. And the kicks and they fight each other. They fight other guys. In the first, I start to write down the times. I'm serious. In the first 10 minutes, there is like there's fighting. There's gun battles. There's jumping over the car. There's a restaurant battle. There's like 3 or 4 action things in 10 minutes. This movie is short, and it has it's like not one scene goes on longer than it needs to. It's like, get the dialogue, move on. And there's so many awesome things. I love this movie. I think it is criticism proof. What criticism would I have? I don't even know, because if you said it was longer, you could it could get too long and it could become bad. So, keep it really short, right? And I know I'm a bit of a perv, but thank God for nudity, man. I'm tired of these like these horror movies nowadays. There's no nudity. These action movies, it's just tiresome. I was like, I want explosions. It's like, that's part of it. Nudity is part of it. Like, come on.
Strip club scenes, fight scenes, and strip clubs necessary. Yeah.
Like decapitations. Like, you thought you and I know a lot of people are thinking there's not going to be a decap in this one. Oh yeah. It's there.
Fucked me up, because I was 12 when I first saw this movie, and he's like, feeling her up and everything like this, and then gives her some crack, and you're like, wow, this is getting really hot. he just cut off her head. It's like,
It's a snuff film.
There's
Yeah.
way too much work and coordination for his sex. It's like the one guy has to be behind him with the sword.
Yeah,
he
sword,
reaches
yeah.
back and
No, but yeah, so that and he's filming it. So there's a snuff film. I swear to God,
way too much going on.
And anybody in the chat who has not seen this movie, by some chance, if you're in chat and you haven't seen this movie, ask for a trope of action films. It is guaranteed in this movie. I don't care. It's like industrial area, like warehouse, like drugs, booze. They've combined drugs and booze into a thing.
I want the Red Dragon beer. I want the Red Dragon beer. I wish that was a thing.
I wish it was too. And then there's
With the crack.
Yeah.
There's drugs in the beer. So some of it's real beer and some of it's drugs. I can't believe it, man. This movie is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece of action. Best 80s movie made in the 90s. I'm done.
It was 1991, yeah.
91, yeah.
Yeah, the guy who made it was like, can we just get one last? It's like, if this is the last 80s movie we ever got, let's put everything. I swear to God, I think they literally just went around the table, come up with 3 ideas from action movies. Oh, decapitations, yep, okay. Sword fights, yep, okay. Like whatever, throw it in.
Yeah, it's directed by Mark Lester, who did Commando. So no wonder it's awesome. Like a perfect double bill right there.
That's a review-proof movie too. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but interesting that the movie was initially 90 minutes, and then the studio wanted to cut it down, and they cut it down to 79 minutes. So hashtag release the Lester cut. Never mind the Snyder cut or anything. I want to see, that. I want to see more nudity, more decapitations, more drugs. So yeah, I mean, it's just awesome. But also, like, Dolph and Brandon are just such a good buddy cop duo, and I was like, I want these guys in for a trilogy or something. I mean, just seeing these two guys together was amazing. And like the Yakuza were like the go-to villains of the period, just before the Jamaican period in like the 90s. It was like the Yakuza were the bad guys and everything. And then so you got Carrere Yukitagawa, and I'm sorry, but this is his best villain. Like everyone goes on about Shanghai, but Yoshida is just an absolute piece of shit. He's like rapist, murderer, drug dealer. It's like, what can this guy do? It's just like he's a monster.
Yeah, it's inconceivable that a human could be that evil. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like because it's like how did you get so evil in every aspect? Like rape. It's like he torture. Like I can't believe every single bad guy thing that could ever happen. He's got a scar too. I'm like, man, goddamn. And it's a revenge. It's buddy cop revenge. This isn't a genre. It's every genre. It's every action thing there ever was.
Yeah, and then you've got Tia Carrere, who is just goddess of that period. And every guy wanted Tia Carrere. She was just amazing.
Oh my god.
I actually got a bunch of comments here. So we have release Lester cut. Agreed. One of Dolph Lundgren's best, The Punisher and Red Scorpion are great too. Yes, all that too. Mark Ellis directed Oscar was Commander. Yes. I jotted a bunch. Yeah. So Ron is. I don't know if any of you guys are interested. I mentioned to John the other day. You remember Showdown? Maybe Showdown. Yeah. Yep. So we're going to do a show on that in like a couple of weeks and just talk about some of our favorite Billy Blanks action movies. So if anyone's interested in that, then welcome to join in. So Ron is going to join us for that Ron Jamming here. So because Ron is awesome. We're going to call him Captain Ron from now on. Remember that?
Oh, nice. Yes.
Dolph was great. Yeah. It's kind of exploitation film as much as an action film. I miss Lucy and Gore the way they did in the 90s. Yeah. Amen. Douglas Browning for president. I agree.
Yep.
She's a babe. Best thing of all time.
Yeah.
Delicious.
What's up with that line?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the biggest dick I've ever seen. That was so funny. There's so many one-liners in this movie. It's like before we die,
the script is amazing. It's just faultless. I'm just I say all the dialogue along with it, and I'm just why isn't this movie? You have the right to be dead. I mean, gold, absolute gold.
He's like at the end. He's like, "What are we going to put on the report?" Like,
Like there's a report. Yeah, because the cop dresses up as a samurai at the end, and then has impales the guy on some fireworks and burns him.
A firework wheel. It's like I'm just looking at it like, oh.
This report's going to take a while to write up. Sean, Sean, what do you think of it? We haven't said already.
I don't know when the first time I saw this movie was either. It's like it's just always been around kind of thing. But I've seen it many, many times. I like the reason why J-Man went on for a 10-minute rant is because we don't really see movies this daring anymore. I think that's what we kind of miss in action movies, and why we wistfully look at stuff like Commando and stuff like that, because movies used to be daring and used to go for the jugular, and were unapologetic, right? So like this movie would today would have to apologize for a number of things, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, back then it's like, well, it's a seedy underbelly. It's like, listen, they're eating sushi off this naked chick. Like that's what they do, you know. It's like this one guy, he's a sadist, so he likes to have sex with this woman and cut her head off, and we're going to show you that so that we're setting up a villain. It's like there's a reason for everything. It's not like it's senseless, but it's super fun. And it's like nonsensical and cartoony. You can't really take like they shoot a lot of guys in that bath area, like a lot of naked dudes. But like it's like I don't know, it's stupid. It's fun, you know, like that sumo guy totally gets destroyed with like a hose to the
in his mouth.
It's like, but it's like we don't really see creativity and fun like that anymore. That's why everyone was killing themselves over the John Wick movies. But it's like we just don't see that sort of gleeful, unapologetic cinema anymore. So yeah, no, this is wicked. It's like peak. It is like a peak 80s movie in like the early 90s. I was about to say it's peak 90s in 1991, but like because you got the Japanese villains that you see in like everything, like Rising Sun and all that, right? So it's and I mean Brendan Lee. It's like, you know, every time you watch something like this, you're like, oh, you know, what could have been, right? Because like Crow was, I mean, even without the controversy around The Crow, obviously, before that, I remember that being positioned as like a studio-driven, studio-backed, hyped-up movie. You know, like it was on ET all the time, like Entertainment Tonight, before the tragedy. So that was poised to make him a big star. So you see this, and it's like, you know, he's really like he's more animated than Dolph Lundgren, and he's kind of there as like the flair guy. And Dolph Lundgren sort of like, you know, belches out his lines. He's funny. It's funny because, listen, I'll say this. Dolph Lundgren, I can't really buy him as a guy who's entrenched in Asian culture in this movie, but I can still go with it because it's funny, right? You know, it's like, and he's got he's got the accoutrement and everything, and you know, it's hilarious. But like,
he made his little house and everything.
I know. He didn't have to build this. It's like, sure.
It lasted 10 minutes. My wife was playing games a while, and I said, wow, look at how, because we love Japanese culture. I was like, look at his house. She's like, wow, that's amazing. I said, it'll blow up in 10 minutes. So get a good look at it now, because it's like right after they literally have sex. And then the villains attack immediately.
And listen,
they're
like
just finished.
Carrere cannot leave this man alone. He's like in the tub, you know, relaxing, and she's like, "Oh, I'm coming in," and stuff like, "Oh, avert your eyes." And it's like, sure. And then later he's sleeping. He's trying to sleep. And then she's like, I know, I'm scared and shit. So like, so she goes in there. It's like, you can't leave this. And he's like, okay, let's fuck, right? You know, whatever.
like fine.
You twisted my arm. God damn. Anyway, no, it's wicked. You don't, as I say, like this is the kind of gleeful action fun that, I mean, if you love action movies, you're always nostalgic for. And you watch this, is like, my God, how did we get from that to like now? Like what happened? It's like such a downhill spiral, but it's wicked that we have movies like this. So yeah.
And Tia Carrere does, of course, have the best line in cinema history. That time, I heard you coming.
Yes. She almost laughs when she said it.
I know. She's like, I can't believe I have to say this line.
Well, she felt a lot more relaxed knowing that she wasn't going to be nominated for any Academy Awards. So she was like, I may as well just go with it.
It should have got Best Picture, though. But, you know.
For sure. I would seriously give it Best Picture and unapologetically and go up and do a proper speech. I'd like to thank the Academy for giving us the Best Picture. We worked hard on it. I'd like to thank the Yakuza for being so mean and cruel. He cuts off his finger and then they stabs him anyway.
Yeah.
Not all.
Is that all? It's like and it's
John, see if your sound is good. Your thoughts on it? Go.
Am I working?
We can hear you.
Yep.
So first of all, I feel old because I was 17 when this freaking movie came out. So I'm like, shit, where did the time go? And for one, and the thing is, they were talking about they cut more scenes between Lee and Dolph Lundgren, and I wouldn't really take more scenes with those two because that was like the best part of the picture because they had awesome chemistry. And why cut that out? It's like, and he said it tested poorly with audiences or something like that. There's like that
Who the hell were the audiences?
You know? Yeah, it's like that. Okay, can I just say something? When you do test audiences, who the frick do they invite to these things? Because it's like they butcher these movies and everything, and it's like, and it's like in script, like we were talking about script. My favorite line is he's like out of the frying pan and blowing up the ass with a. How can you not freaking love lines like this? He's like, there you have it. You know, it's like they just have like the greatest chemistry ever. And it's like, and like Sean was saying how he couldn't write Dolph Lundgren as a samurai. I remember watching this for the first time. I was like, fuck yeah. I dress up like a samurai. It's like, but it's like, and I also brought out, I should upgrade the Blu-ray, but this is the original I bought in 1991.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, and it's like I love it. It's the how they have inserted everything.
Mine's over there. I'm not gonna get up. It's over there. You can trust me.
Oh my god! It's like I know should upgrade the blue, but I just have a sentimental feel for it, And I couldn't understand why because it was only released in 140 some theaters in the United States, and I'm like, why? It's like this movie would have been great, especially for the time, because like I said, we were not as politically correct. And it's like, and I just love the ending too, where Brand is finding Toshiro Obata, and he's reading the Miranda.
Lock kicking his ass.
Yeah, and I'll take anything. Brandon Lee doing martial arts. That's I feel the cows come home because. How fluid was that man doing his shit? Especially like at the beginning, he plays Dolph Lundgren for the first time, and he's just like it's like a freaking rubber band, and he's jumping up and does the kip up. It's just like I do not love that man, and it's just a shame that obviously what happened to him. But this is probably one of the greatest Dolph Lundgren movies ever.
Oh, I think it might be maybe my favorite is like this. Red Scorpion and Punisher, I think, are like my three.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I come Peace.
Yeah. So, Dark Angel or whatever.
Yeah, that was good. Stephen, your thoughts?
I mean, I saw this when I was like 14. My first thought immediately was I couldn't believe someone could remove a girl's clothes with a big ass knife without hurting her. I was like, I got to figure out what this technique is, and I got to find a girl who actually wants me to take her.
It's a sword with you.
Yeah, and then he beheads her, and I'm like, that's such a waste. Why is this man so wasteful? Right? Why is he doing this? I want to see more.
At least have sex with her.
Yeah, like he's basically like, but she would have been dead in 20 minutes anyway, right? Like this movie cemented Carrere Hiroyuki Tagada as a great villain, but the problem is that he was so good in this, I couldn't see him like when he was in Rising Sun, and he didn't do it. It was hard to believe. It was like, no, he did it. Did you not see this bastard in Showdown Little Tokyo? He obviously did it. Yeah, this movie is review proof because it's not trying to be anything it's not, right? It is basically buddy cop action flick, balls to walls, which, you know, the thing is that when I first saw it, it didn't actually make a huge impression on me because they were all making movies like that, it seemed, at that time. Like, I saw a lot of movies like this. I saw nudity, I saw violence. So to me, I was like, yeah, it's good, right? And now it's like, holy shit, like, this is way better than anything we get now. Like, it went downhill like horribly. Like, if you think about it now, it's like action movies, except for a few, are not fun. They aren't fun. They're too busy trying to hit, you know, not trying to offend anyone and hit this demographic and this demographic and this demographic. Also, how did Dolph Lundgren never get cast as Frankenstein's monster? I was looking at him again, and I'm like, holy shit. If you saw this guy done up like Frankenstein's monster, that would be scary as hell.
You shit your pants, yeah.
Yeah. Brandon Lee is wonderful in this movie. He's so whimsical and he's so devil may care. He's obviously going along for the ride and he's having a lot of fun and he's kicking ass. Like his like John said, his moves are fluid. He looks like a rubber band. I agree. Like I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, this guy could like, but Dolph Lundgren, like, holy crap, this guy's what, 6'7" or something, and he's like, he knows martial arts. This should actually be illegal. You know, because I'm like, this should not happen. Like, I pity the fool who's going to like try and jump him in a frigging alleyway. Like, it's crazy. But it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it was so much. It's, you know, it's the best. I think, Owen, you said or something. Best 80s action movie in the 90s. They don't make them like they used to, should be the tagline for this movie now, because they don't make them like they used to, like this one used to. And Mark L. Lester, I mean, he also made Firestarter, which was a great Stephen King adaptation, and Class of 1984, which I think...
Love Class of 1984, such a good movie. That's filmed here.
Yeah. So he had a run, right? In Commando, right? He had a run where he was making a lot of good movies. And again, another guy who did solid work, and he's gone into the, you know, no one knows where he is anymore. He's probably either retired or he's doing television work. But yeah, big Showdown and big. I keep wanting to call it Big Trouble in Little Tokyo, right? Wow. I keep wanting to call it that. Even in my head, I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so it's Big Trouble in it's Showdown in Little Tokyo. You know, I wish we got more. I wish we got, you know, Trouble in Little Saigon, or, you know, in Little, like, you know, Kuala Lumpur, like something, you know, like, I thought that would have been great if they had a series of movies.
Where Jack Burton.
Jack Burton.
Oh my God.
These guys, that would have been hilarious. And that bath scene just haunted me. Like, when I saw it again recently, I'm like, oh my God, like that guy, that's sumo like you're talking about Tia Carrere not leaving him alone. That sumo wrestler kept grabbing him and dragging him back in the water. Like, holy shit, kill this guy. What the hell? He stabs him and he's still coming. Like, what the hell?
And that would not be allowed, because I've been following sumo since 2014. I've never missed a tournament, and the Rikishi, the wrestlers, are under a lot of scrutiny. If they misbehave or do unhonorable things, they will be eliminated from sumo. So that guy was not a current wrestler. No. He was dishonored.
But you're not allowed to try and drown people in bathhouses. Okay, that's good to know.
No, you're not even allowed to yell at them in public. If you yell at them and people in public, you're in trouble. So yeah.
But I just love how Kerry Hiroki Tagada is so cool. Like, even when he's confronted in the bathhouse, he's done all these terrible things, and he's like, "What, you're going to arrest me?" Basically, he's like, "What do you got me? You're not going to arrest me." Like, he's so arrogant, and also, I gotta say, he's kind of a bigot too. Like, he doesn't like white girls. He's like, "Oh, you know, all my countrymen, or all the other guys, like, you know, whatever, but I like the Asian girls." I'm like, you don't even, what the hell? Like, add that to his list of offenses. Like, he's so good as a villain. I just can't say enough.
Yeah, but also We need to go shout out to Dolph Lundgren's training montage. Training montages are a key thing for any action movie, and he's getting ready to prepare for battle. That's he's getting all his samurai outfit and everything, and you're like, he's putting on his pajamas to go out. You're like, you look ridiculous, but go kick his ass, samurai.
I mean, he does a jump kick, and you're like, how big do you have to be for Dolph Lundgren to land a jump kick? Like you'd have to be like 7 foot tall to need Dolph Lundgren and give you a jump kick.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Dolph Lundgren, and it's the same with like Stallone. Whenever you see them like during fight scenes, is that you do not want to be in the receiving end of one of their hits. I mean, like Dolph's kicks or whatever, like there's real power there, and I was like, I wouldn't mess with them.
He bruised Stallone's heart.
He
bruised his heart and sent him to the ICU during Rocky IV because Stallone's like, let's go a few rounds. And Dolph Lundgren's like an Olympian. It's like, you want to go a few rounds for real? One punch and Stallone flew out of the ring like it was fucking Superman. And it's like, they're like, we gotta go to the hospital. Like Dolph Lundgren put him in the hospital. It's like, okay.
We'd love to see Dolph back in Expendables 4, make it R-rated though, bring the hardcore Rambo 2008 violence. Hell yes. Yeah, because that's what we've been denied in all three of the Expendables movies, really, because they'll add in the CG blood or whatever at post. And I was like, no, I want to buy all the squibs in the world and use them in this movie and just call it Expendables Squibtastic and just... that's what I want to see.
We were talking about review proof. So review proof in my mind is where you explaining why it's bad is making it sound awesome. So I went on Rotten Tomatoes and just saw the first negative review, a violent exploitation B movie martial arts film. I'm like, yeah, doesn't sound bad. Like
that's what it is. I mean,
it's a compliment.
Yeah, right. It's like this movie has nothing but hardcore violence, nudity, like
oh no.
It's like this sounds good.
Yeah, these critics watch movies with their pinkies up. It's like, come on, guys. Not everything is a gourmet meal.
No.
Like sometimes you want a hamburger, man.
Yeah, they have their pinkies up. I have my pants down. So
this is probably why 50-year-old spinsters shouldn't review these type of movies.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's like Golden said. It's not fucking Citizen Kane. It's like not everything has to be Citizen Kane. It's like this is what it is, and it's supposed to be.
Yeah, not everything is supposed to be Citizen Kane. Like seriously,
Nope.
It's so annoying. It's all like one criteria to fit everything. It's like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, not every movie is chasing that Oscar. It's like some movies just want to entertain you.
It's like disagreement in Louisville.
I'd watch it.
A slight disagreement in Louisville. That'd be awesome.
Can this movie be released?
No.
No way.
It would be Twitter to hell.
Oh god, yeah. Twitter would have a ban and everyone would be hung. It would be
it's almost like everyone who made it would be canceled, so it would be uncanceled. I think it's like when you start getting too negative, it just becomes like a positive. There's too many negative. It's like ban all these guys. You can't do that, so it's over. It just automatically now becomes good. It's like eventually they run out. They probably commit suicide before they even viewed the entire movie.
Yeah,
this is like I can't take it. I'm offended.
I'm so offended by everything.
Well, the villains would get death threats, like the actors, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, I saw someone say the movie was misogynistic, and I was like, "Shut up!" I was like, "Yeah, probably is, but who cares?"
But it's not promoting anything. Like, these people think that because something is shown in a movie, it's promoting the thing it's showing.
Yeah, it's not a message; it's a story.
It's a story.
It's not a documentary. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like nobody is supposed to identify with someone, lopping off your lover's head in the middle of the act while others watch and film it. Like it didn't say at the bottom, we recommend this at home. Like
I watched it as a kid, but it's funny, like, when I think about what kids watch today and like what we watched as kids, I mean, like kids say like watch Pixar movies and stuff like this. I mean, I remember, I watched like First Blood and First Blood Part 2, RoboCop, Showdown Little Tokyo, Die Hard, in the 80s. We had childhoods. I mean, our kids' movies, I suppose, would have been Ghostbusters, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Back to the Future.
It was a kid,
yeah. Some of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh man,
I thought Gremlins was a kids' movie.
I thought so too. They marketed it to kids.
So I was gonna show it to my niece and nephew on my wife's side, and they're like, I think they were like 7 and 8 at the time or something.
Yeah.
And then my wife's like, because she was watching it with me. I was just watching it to make sure there wasn't any nudity or anything weird that I get.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this looks okay. And my wife's like, are you crazy? This is bad. This is bad. I'm like, oh,
we had toys.
And I'm like, oh my god.
I watched it as a kid. Yeah.
And like they had like 5 booking record sets for kids.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Is that because like. Is that too intense now for kids? Like these
kids now these days are being made into wimps. That's all I gotta say, man.
Why everyone's saying they're so smart these days? They don't know jack shit, nothing.
No,
all right.
In terms of experience and being outraged by everything as though the world isn't cruel, because it is.
It is. It
like,
sucks.
can't bubble wrap everything.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, it could not be released today to answer Ron's question.
No,
it would not.
Emily's best work, or where does it rank? It's certainly up there. For me, it's The Crow, and then it's kind of joint with Rapid Fire. But The Crow, to me, is still my favorite ever comic book adaptation. It's just a masterpiece. It's another movie that's beyond criticism, but actually genuinely because it's an amazing movie.
And he's doing something different in that movie too. Like it's a different performance, so it shows versatility. I find
he's having fun in this movie. Maybe you could argue too much fun, where it's become too fun. Like he's just like like he's never in danger of getting killed. Not that he was in danger of getting killed anyways, but he's almost so fun in this movie. That you're like, oh, they just won't kill this guy just because of coolness. Because sometimes one of the partners will die or something. You never know, right? But it's just like it can't. But yeah, The Crow is a serious film with like like some depth to it as well.
Oh yeah,
and it's like a work of art and everything.
Yeah.
I know.
Was Dee Wallace the mother?
Sequence is great.
She mega destroys Gremlins.
He was awesome.
No, but that sequence is very good.
Yeah,
like the microwave guy is going. He blows up.
Because it's the opposite of what you. Well, I don't want to get into it, but it's the opposite because it's like, housewife, useless housewife, right?
She destroys.
But she's smart. She immediately grabs weapons and she goes on the hunt. I'm like, this is awesome. That's the best mom ever. But then she's baking cake and pie and cooking her little vegetables, and then it's like,
hold on, I gotta go fuck up some monsters.
And then she's ready to go. Yeah.
It's hilarious because they talk about all these tropes nowadays, like strong female character, and they were always there. It's just that they weren't given the credit as such, and now it's like, no, we have to make it super obvious when they walk into the frame. You need a little caption over their head saying strong female character.
Yeah, it's not like
no one can figure it out.
It's not like 4 Alien movies didn't come out like when we were kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Or numerous other things. But no, what they mean now is they want the woman to look like a man in order to say it's a strong female. Like Sarah Connor still had long hair and was a woman who was strong also in body, but in mind. That was the point of Sarah Connor in the second. And Ripley is strong in her intelligence. If they had quarantined, if they actually quarantined Kane and what's her face, Cartwright or whatever, that they wouldn't have had any problems. She said you got to stay in quarantine.
Yeah.
Right? She was the first one to say it. And then Dallas was like, let him in. And that fucked the whole thing up. That created your Alien 4 quadrilogy or whatever.
I hate that. What's the girl? The girl in the Alien one who's just crying all the time. What's her name again?
That's Carrere.
That's Carrere. Yeah. Oh my God. She just has "I'm dead" written right from the start. You're dead meat because you're just such a whiny little bitch. It's like I can't wait to watch you die. I know she did.
She lasts longer than Scary.
Far too long.
She lives quite a long time.
Yeah. So, Ron, would you like to see it remade or leave it alone? Leave it alone. Nobody can remake anything good these days. So,
what's the spin? It's going to be grounded, right?
Yeah.
And that's not the fun of it. That's not the draw of this movie.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So, Yeah, so 30 years, Showdown in Little Tokyo, absolutely love it. One of my other favorite Brandon Lee films is Rapid Fire, which I just watched again last night. I hadn't watched it for a few years, and that's another movie which I forgot how awesome it was. Like he is just great in it. I love watching him move. Like I just love watching Brandon Lee in fight scenes, the way he kicks, the way he moves and everything, and he incorporates some like Jackie Chan and his dad's stuff into a whole bunch of the fights. But one thing which I'd only noticed on this viewing of Rapid Fire was how sort of upset Jake looks anytime he kills anybody. Like normally in an action movie, he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, like one line or whatever. But whenever he kills someone, he's actually genuinely horrified by it because he's generally peaceful, but is trained in martial arts. And that was sort of one of my favorite aspects of the movie is that he was still a badass, but he never went looking for trouble. It just sort of would fight it whenever it came his way, and he was a bit of a shit magnet. But also in Rapid Fire, everybody smokes. This was one back in the day where just everybody was smoking. I mean, God, I used to smoke back then. I don't use it.
Yeah, I've never smoked in my life. I've never taken drugs. I've never been drunk or high ever. And I'm 44 as of yesterday. But smoking is cool. Smoking is cool, man. Like when they're smoking in movies, I'm like, that just looks cool to me, right? Like, and I've never done it. I'm not going to, but I think it looks cool to me. I hate when they don't smoke. Mm-hmm. Like when there's if you're not smoking a cigarette or something or a cigar or whatever, then you're not an action hero. That's it. Like unless you're the Terminator, like you're a machine or something. Mm-hmm. But like you have to be smoking. Like Snake Plissken, you got a light and all that, right?
But what about the kids? Won't they smoke? Well, it's called the thinning of the herd. That's what it's called. So if you want to be stupid, then sure.
Nobody looked cooler smoking though than Bruce Willis in Die Hard and The Last Boy Scout, particularly The Last Boy Scout, where he's disheveled and he's smoking. It's like I fucked a squirrel to death last night and I don't even remember it. So, that's what near Christmas we're going to do that. We'll talk about The Last Boy Scout and Die Hard and some of our favorite like Christmas action movies, and that's going to be a riot. But
it's a drink, it's a bomb. Anyway,
that would be The Rock and Kevin Hart.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, and Ruby Rose.
Right.
And Ruby Rose.
Yeah. Showdown average. Yeah, they would. It's great. Also, like Rapid Fire has Al Young, and again, he had a very small role in the background in Showdown in Little Tokyo, but he has a bigger role in this, and then he's like one of the main bad guys, and it has a big final fight with Brandon Lee at the end, which is quite awesome. And then you've got C-Maz, the villain as well, but Nick Mancuso, who's like he's the guy who smokes all the time. I remember him like the Under Siege movies where he's smoking as well. He's always like, God damn it, just all the time. So stressed all the time. And then you have Powers Booth and Raymond J. Barry. They were both reunited in sudden death, of course, but Powers Booth was just perfect disheveled cop, and guess what? He smokes too. It's just like everybody's disheveled. It's just like, God damn it.
So, smoking is cool.
I said it. Yeah, it may be unhealthy, but I mean, when I smoked, I was like, you know what? I look awesome. I don't care. Gotta die something. Might as well look good doing it.
Man, I haven't seen Rapid Fire in a long time, man.
I hadn't
rewatched that.
Definitely going to rewatch because I watched it last night. Like it wasn't part of this, but it's just whenever I watched it last night, so I'll have to bring it up because it's just one of my favorites. Like this, Showdown, and The Crow are like my three favorites.
So what is there other ones, Owen? Because when you had mentioned earlier we can talk a little bit about Brandon Lee. I started thinking in my mind, and I named those three like right off the bat.
Legacy of Rage.
I can't remember.
Legacy of Rage.
Yeah, with Bolo Young. So he has a good fight with Bolo in it, who's of course into the dragon with his dad. Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty good. John has a love-hate relationship with it, don't you, John?
What's that?
You have a love-hate relationship with Legacy of Rage, and you have like various opinions with it.
Oh no, well, it's just more martial arts, But they haven't seen him in Michael Wong fucking kid's ass, They just go to that house as obliterated.
I can't hear what you're saying. Can anybody else hear John? Okay,
I can catch him here and there.
Yeah, I heard a word here and there, but not really a sentence.
Laser Mission, I remember that one.
Laser Mission. That wasn't
good. When Owen mentioned that to me, I mentioned he wanted to do Brandon Lee. I'm like, oh, you're going to talk about Laser Mission? And Owen was kind of like, no, because it sucks. I mean,
Brandon was good in it. Yeah.
I think I liked Laser Mission because I was like I love B actioners. So,
well, the problem is that it doesn't really live up. Like, it's got this girl. I got it because I'm like, oh, Brandon Lee, this hot girl. Oh my god, I gotta watch this. And I sat down and watched it. I'm like, she's horrible. She busts his balls through the entire thing. She's always like, she was like just annoying. I'm like, why are you? Oh god, this is terrible. You know. And then I'm like, why does Brandon Lee have better chemistry with Ernest Borgnine than with the hot girl who's supposed to be the lead? It's like this.
That's a love scene I wouldn't want to see, though.
You'd probably see it in the new version.
Probably, yeah. Interesting enough, just going back to Rapid Fire a second, Brandon Lee actually wanted John Woo to direct, and he was willing to direct, but the studio didn't want it to be a John Woo movie. They wanted it to be more martial arts, but there was still sort of like, the double gunplay and some slow motion and whatever. But I was like, imagine if John Woo had directed, Brandon Lee in Rapid Fire. That would have been just, amazing. I still love Rapid Fire anyway. It's still an awesome action movie, and it still holds up as a really good movie as well. Remember Alex mentioned to me the other day, I love the bowling alley in it, where the cops are. For some reason, the cops are like stationed in like this old bowling alley. Hours with it, just they're smoking all the time, bowling, and like, all right.
I used to go to bowling alleys all the time and play arcade games, and they would smoke. There was a chain smoker guy who literally, he'd finish one like the next one and just go through like, just sit there and play friggin' Pac-Man all day.
That sounds great to me.
Nothing to do with movies, but like, it's crazy to think like smoking used to be allowed not just in restaurants, but you could smoke at work inside.
On the plane as well, on aircraft. Yep. I always remember Dennis Leary saying, it's like, because imagine if you're on a plane and it's about to crash, and the captain's like, ladies and gentlemen, light them up because we're going down. But nobody smokes better than John Travolta on Broken Arrow. Remember we spoke about that a few weeks ago when he's like, I don't know what the big deal is. I really don't. It's like so theatrical and camp.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Maybe it'd be slow-mo fire.
Yeah. Rapid Fire also has a cameo from Dustin Gunn. Yeah. And Screwface himself also. Correct. Remember that? Should the movie have been longer, or did it get everything done it needed to? Showdown Little Tokyo, I take it you're talking about, Ron. It could have been 3 hours long, and that would have been fine, but I think it's perfect as is.
I would have that rewatchability, right?
Yeah.
You need to have it where you finish watching it, you're like, wow, I think I might rewatch. When I finished watching it, I rewatched it, of course, for tonight, and I finished it at like 10:30 p.m. and I thought, and I'm looking at the clock, I'm thinking, fuck, I could probably do this again. Like, I could probably watch it again because it's not that long.
Yeah.
Not like movies now where they're 3 hours and like you can cut an hour out and it'd be the same movie and you probably wouldn't even notice that 1 hour was cut out. I think it's perfect time. I think it's the perfect time.
I mean, my thing is these days, I think every movie is too long now. Everything is like 2 hours or longer, and I'm like, why are movies not 80 or 90 minutes long? I love 80 or 90 minute long movies because, like, okay, I can watch this in the morning before work or whatever because it's nice and short, and you should be able to tell your story in 90 minutes. Like, that's generally the standard time. It's like anything else is just kissing your own ass. Basically, it's like, no, tell your story in 90 minutes. Like a Suicide Squad was like 3 fucking days long or whatever it was.
It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes,
and it felt every second. Yeah,
and it's like, really, why was that so long? Even the first and second movie were almost the same length.
Yes,
and they're both too long.
Like, everything's too long now.
Well, and Suicide Squad's a 90-minute movie. Like, I've been watching classic movies since I've been off. We watched Casablanca last night, and it's an hour and 40 minutes, and it's like. It's perfect. Every scene matters. Every dialogue.
That was long back then.
That was long back then. I know, and that's nothing.
Features are like an hour and 10 minutes or something.
Yeah,
right. Because I've been watching I love Cagney, so I've been doing the Cagney movies again, and it's like they're all 90 minutes or under. Maybe Yankee Doodle is a little longer, but it's like they're fast, and it's like they got it done. They told their story. You moved on with your life. Ben-Hur was long because his life. Ben-Hur is long, or Lawrence of Arabia. These are epics where there'd be an intermission. You'd go and take a break for a minute. Yeah. You come back, you're like, okay, now I gotta take an afternoon off to watch Harry Potter. Like, what is happening? Like, shoot your fucking spells.
Yeah.
He's defeated. It's over. Like, what is happening in this? Oh, there's all this depth. No, there isn't. They're playing Quidditch for fucking half an hour. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a real sport. I don't care. Just have a thing come up saying they won the Quidditch match. Thanks. Move on. Does it really matter? God. Sorry, that's a random attack on Harry Potter.
That
It's
was
10 for
completely
champions.
random. And I could see J-Man going to his employer and being like, I need to take the afternoon off. I'm seeing Harry Potter.
Oh, hold on, no, one of them.
I can watch Rapid Fire, Showdown in Little Tokyo, and Punisher, or I can watch Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And I'm like, really? Like,
Part 1, yeah.
Come on.
So,
Yeah.
though this also takes them out of us watching their movies, because it's like, I don't have time to sit here and watch this 3-hour thing. Like, everyone loved The Irishman. To this day, I haven't watched it because I'm like, when am I going to carve out the time to watch this? I couldn't even do Snyder Cut. Oh, I did it over 2 days because I couldn't do it in one sitting. I'm like,
that's a good day off for it. Yeah.
you know.
Well, no one can do it in one sitting. It's quite awful. But
But Ron says here, I like John Woo's Mission Impossible 2. Fights and action were awesome. I'm going to put my hand up and say it's actually my favorite Mission Impossible movie. I think it's John's as well. Because I think it's awesome. I liked Dougray Scott as a villain. That's really cool. Yep. So,
okay, but there's a lot going on, right?
I actually did
depth
take
to
a
them.
week off
Yeah.
to watch the extended Lord of the Rings, and
I would do
I needed
extended
it.
also.
So
I would do extended Hobbit. I love all 6 movies extended.
yeah,
That I will fight people on.
I will not watch the theatrical cuts again. Is that no? It's just only the extended because that's the full proper versions.
Yeah.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm building up to watching the Middle Earth saga again soon. That's going to be fall, winter, because whenever you're not going outside for days on end.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I didn't care what happened. I was going to pee my pants in the theater. Oh, I did twice. But I just usually what
I know that was the longest movie that's ever been filmed ever. It's like, oh my God, what is happening in this movie? It's Batman. It still should be family entertainment. Like, I can't get through that. I've watched it once in the theater and I own it. Every time I think I want to watch, I'm like, nah, I'll just watch Batman 89 or Returns.
Is it China or Japan he goes to? Like, to this day, I have to go back and watch it because I don't even know why he goes there.
That's Dark Knight.
That's
Dark Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Knight is where he goes to China, which could be eliminated because it's nothing. Yeah. Just eliminate the whole thing.
Leave Gotham City.
I'm going to China, and then here's my phone, and then they tricked them because they had 2 phones.
Also, does nobody have a boat? And I'm like, are there no boats anywhere? I was like, I'm sure someone could leave jet skis, little dinghy or something.
Help me out here, guys! Like, throw me a boat.
Yeah.
Throw me a boat here, man.
A lot of elements of Vanilla which could have been edited in, but actually, to be honest, I do love Rises, and Ed will fight any of you if he.
Rises?
Yeah.
It deflates at the end.
Oh, big time!
It's ridiculous.
Bane is a loser who works for Talia, who's underdeveloped and a trick villain at the end, which we all know because everyone who knows Talia knows she's the villain anyway.
But it's also the worst acted death scene of all time. Her death is appalling. It's like, my father's work is done.
Huh? And Bane and Catwoman, who's not called Catwoman, beats Bane. I'm like, what a barf fest that is. Bane would throw her into Mars. You pick her up and throw her into Mars. It's like, see you later, cat lady.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Any scene or scenes from Little Tokyo you could have gone without? No. There could have been more nudity. I think there could have been more nudity. Maybe some more decapitations and throwing stars. I don't know. I think there were some fight scenes that were cut from it. I know there was with Rapid Fire as well. And I think maybe a few more. So, but I can't think of anything I'd want.
at 79 minutes, like it felt longer, like a good way though, like because like when you were watching.
Yeah, I mean, there was still characterization in it. That was the thing. Like, Dolph was still wanted revenge because of the death of his parents or whatever, and then he finds a guy who does it, and it ends up being the Yakuza guy. And you know, so you're involved, and you know, he's just such an absolute bastard anyway that you already hate him. I mean, he's actually one of my all-time favorite action movie villains, and I can actually say, without a word of a lie, and watch the abuse I get for this, I watched this movie more than any of the Lethal Weapon movies. Like, I prefer Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee as partners, because sometimes, I'm just going to say it, sometimes I find Lethal Weapon films annoying. Like, I find Leo annoying. Just the constant shouting and the saxophone music can be annoying. I have to be in the right mood for it, but there's nothing annoying about this. That's the thing. There's no characters that are annoying. So
three especially are annoying. Like 2, I don't know. For some reason, of all the movies, I think about 2 the most. Like Free South Africa, you dumb son of a bitch.
Yeah. 10, all the way.
Yeah. 10-2.
It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I agree with Owen. Like in terms of the Lethal Weapon series, I agree with you 100%, Owen.
Good.
Yeah.
So I mean, because like when I remember, because Lethal came out first, and then when I saw Showdown in Little Tokyo, I watched this one more than I watched the Lethal Weapon movies too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
There is still nudity in Lethal Weapon films, so that's good.
Yeah, you can't believe. Yeah. At the beginning, they have such great chemistry together. It's like I would have loved like 2 or 3 more of these movies.
Oh, I know. We were denied so many adventures. Yeah, there should have been so many more adventures of Kenner and Johnny. I just think that, you know, they were so, like, where the Avengers had the shawarma scene, there should have been eating fish off naked chicks scene at the end.
They're doing it.
No, after the credits, you should have seen them sitting at the table because they just killed everybody because eating off naked. It's like,
at least Brandon Lee should have come back at the end and be like, "Where's the fish at? You know, where's the sushi bar?"
Well, I think when you rate this movie, you can't help but give it a 10 out of 10 because it's if you consider the movie unreviewable, then it has to be a 10 out of 10 because it's hitting what it's trying to achieve.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's supposed to be. Yeah,
right. It's unpretentious.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like
and adding extra stuff of revenge a lot. Normally, the revenge plot is used when the viewer doesn't know what to make of the villain. But we already hate the villain, and then there's a revenge plot on top of it. It's like, well, how much more can you possibly hate this guy before you love him? It starts to get into that, I can't stand this guy. This is the worst villain ever. You're like, I kind of like this guy because it's just so crazy now. It's not like Joffrey from Game of Thrones who never got into that level. Sean's laughing because he knows it. It's like, he's just a piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
You just
I've seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
never explained why he killed his parents. He was just an asshole, right? He just thought I'd break into this house and kill his
Yeah, he was just there and killed them. And that was it, really.
Well, the problem with Game of Thrones, and I found this with Joffrey and both him and Ramsay, is they're too villainous. Like you want them legitimately.
Ramsay is the most evil person of all time. Like if I saw the actor in real life, I would assault him. I'm sorry. I would just like, fuck you.
No, poor guy, man. He's getting death threat. This is like the WWF wrestling days. Where it's like Iron Sheik's getting death threats, and meanwhile, him and Hogan are sharing a fucking hotel room and ordering room service.
It just because like the Red Wedding was completely like, oh my god, everyone in this entire scene should just be killed, including the extras. Like they should just be beheaded. Like what the hell?
They couldn't pay all those actors to keep coming back for the next season. They're like, can we just kill everybody in one thing and then? We're talking about Lethal Weapon 4.
The Jet Li. Yeah, I would agree with that. But I think we'll maybe do like a proper in-depth Lethal Weapon chat near Christmas. You know, those Christmas movies.
No one can defeat Jet Li, so I don't.
That's the problem.
That's my problem. It's like,
that is my exact problem.
Yes, Citizen Kane of action films. Who not talk about? I would agree. Once again, I've watched this more than I've watched Citizen Kane. I have seen Citizen Kane a bunch of times, but it has less naked chicks and fish.
Definitely less naked.
Yeah, and there's no chicks and naked chicks and fish. There's no sword fights. There's no decapitations. No strip clubs. So yeah, which movie am I going to watch more?
Can I ask? Did everyone else, when they saw the thing he was bathing in, did anyone else think that was too small and couldn't possibly hold him? Like, he's a big dude.
Oh, Dolph. Yeah.
I was like, his knees up to his chin. Like, how does he fit? And then she gets in, and I'm like, what the hell?
I think he tried to build. I'm actually serious on this. I'm not trying to be funny. I think he built it to scale of what it's supposed to be, because he's trying to replicate the exact sort of style that they would have had of their homes, in like feudal Japan almost or whatever. And they had those little bath things, and they're small because typically those people are smaller than other people, right? So I think he literally made it like to scale, because he built it himself. So he was such he
built everything himself. Yeah,
he built all that. So he built it perfect, because it's like the beds and the way that they have their tables set out, because they would all kneel and eat, right?
Yes.
They're not sitting at a table eating, and the way the bed is and everything, and it's just like heightened off the ground a bit. I think he built it to scale. He's like, that's just a scale, and that's what I like.
So. I literally thought it was the TARDIS. I'm like, maybe it's bigger on the inside. I have no idea. it was really like that. And also, Tia Carrere got over her rape extremely quickly.
I know. It was 24 hours.
She was going to do seppuku because she had been dishonored.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren murdered a bunch of men to save her, and then she's like, I'll just have sex with you. I'm like, whoa, what happened?
I'll have a bath and then I'm fine.
He gives her a gun, like gives her a murder weapon, and she doesn't commit suicide with it. Right. She just sits there
on purpose again, and she's been accepted by a man or whatever. They've played this out, and they've played this out in Lone Wolf and Cub as well. Not obviously this crazy, but like if you're dishonored, like Lone Wolf protected this one girl, and then she was okay because he like accepted her. So it's like Dolph Lundgren accepted her, so she's okay now. And plus, it's like, look, how many men do you have to kill to impress a girl? Like, I just killed like 17 guys. Like, help me out here. She's like, yeah, we're good. All right.
And weren't they just going to do reconnaissance? And then they're just like, we're just going to watch. And then they saw her with and Brandon Lee's like, oh, what's she doing? And Dolph Lundgren, holy shit! And then he just runs down there. Brandon Lee doesn't even join him. He's like, oh, okay, like.
But the brilliance of that scene is this: Brandon Lee sees it, and I'm a Japanese fan of their culture and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, I immediately knew what was happening, but he didn't.
Yeah.
And then the way they do that is that he's explaining the act, and then Dolph Lundgren tells the audience, so that we are now in the know of what's happening. Because if you didn't know, it doesn't look like anything until the blade comes out. Like, she's just setting up stuff. You're like, okay, well, maybe she's decorating. Like, what is she doing? And the way they set that, because if Dolph Lundgren had seen it, he would have thrown the glasses down and just run up. But having Brandon Lee see it, explain it, and then it's explained to the audience. So it's exposition, but not in a dumb way how they do it nowadays, where it's like literally so bad, where guys just explain the entire thing. I'm like, why are you explaining this? Like, you would never say this, but because Brandon Lee is I don't want to, oh God, I don't want to call him the banana or whatever, right? But he's a banana. And he doesn't know. So then Lundgren, who's the egg, explains it to him or whatever. So, I mean, that's how they did it. I thought that was genius.
Yeah, that was good. It was just like funny how they did it, because it's literally like, we're just going to look, guys. We're just going to look. We're just going to, because there's like a bunch of guys here. Like, we're not going to do anything crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Literally, I think Brandon Lee's like, you're going. He's like, no, we're just going to watch. And then as soon as he says, "Oh, that's what she's doing," up there, man.
And a piece of devastating news: that's not her getting naked, getting into the bath.
That's what I thought. It's like, that's not her body, really.
No, because it's so funny, because she's like takes the robe off and then cuts to somebody else, and it was like, wait, she didn't have that weird in the last scene.
Yeah.
So that was disappointing. But one thing we haven't discussed actually is the music. The music,
so good.
Yeah,
the signature is so good. And you got the opening credits where you've got like the actor with the sword and the tattoos, but it's almost like Rapid Fire is almost like a sequel to it, or whatever. Because then the opening credits to that, you have Brandon Lee doing the martial arts moves and everything. It's got a very similar style of opening credits, and the perfect double bill is Rapid Fire and Showdown Little Tokyo. But here's the real question: Showdown in Little Tokyo versus Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, Big Trouble in Little China.
It's got to be Big Trouble. The problem is that I think this is how I sort of frame it in my mind. Showdown in Little Tokyo is a great example of an action film done at its best at a great time for action films. But I think Big Trouble in Little China superseded its own time. Like, it was like, it was before its time. Like, that's why it didn't really hit immediately and it became a cult film. Like, that movie is just genius. And it's sort of like the anti-action action movie. The lead character is a bit of a buffoon. He's got lipstick on himself, on his teeth and stuff. Like, he comes across like the hero, but he's not. He fails a bunch of times, but and plus the fantasy element is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like, I don't think anyone was prepared for it. No. Carpenter was a visionary. Is a visionary, I guess.
There is a director I miss these days, and I'm like, I'm checking IMDb all the time. When's John Carpenter got a new movie out? And like, he just scores the Halloween movies, which is fine. But I'm sorry, but a John Carpenter movie is an event for me, and he's one of my favorite directors. It's like John Carpenter, Michael Mann, Walter Hill. That was like three directors who I will watch any of their films opening night. And it just has to be. And like John Carpenter, maybe my favorite director because he just has so many great movies. I mean, Halloween, The Fog, The Thing, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China. I mean, it's just like it's endless great movies. They Live, yeah. So, I would.
Prince of Darkness also.
Prince of Darkness. I was going to say, yeah, that movie's genius.
Because didn't you watch that for the first time?
We watched it
with us. Yeah, because I picked it up on the Blu-ray. I don't think I'd seen it before either, and I just blind bought the Blu-ray and we watched it, and I thought it was awesome. I remember that. We were still to have our Charles Bronson day, and then COVID came along. It never happened. Someday.
We'll do it.
Well, I just watched The Mechanic the other day. Not the other day, whenever we had our Death Wish thing, I was like, maybe start. Mechanic is genius, but anyways, that's a separate thing.
Well, I'm actually doing one with John Cross in the next few weeks. He's the after movie diner, and I'm pimping him out today and wearing his t-shirt. And we're going to be talking the Mechanic films. So if you want to join in, Jay, that'd be cool because we're going to be the Mechanic and then the Statham Mechanic films and talk about.
I haven't seen the Statham ones because I was like, oh no, but I don't.
Just
know.
Don't compare them. They're great action movies on their own right. So just give them a watch, but they are actually good. Particularly, Mechanic Resurrection is like a PM entertainment movie, right?
Okay.
So think of that, where it's just like a balls out action movie, huge body count, has a really cool kill towards the end involving a jacuzzi, and it's kind of old school action. So yeah, definitely watch that. So, around. Anyway, so Ron asks best movie of 1991 or one of, certainly way up there. Was Total Recall 1991 or 1990? I think it was 1990.
90.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at the list of what came out.
Terminator 2 was 1991. Terminator 2 is the best film of 1991.
Oh, yeah.
Terminator 2's got to be up there.
Yeah, well, it's like pretty much my favorite
People
movie ever.
Over the Stairs, that's a great movie, too.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
I saw it years ago.
Point Break is 91.
We've got Point Break. Predator 2 as well, I think.
I'm going for double Impact.
Oh.
Also, a personal fave, Career Opportunities. And if you either know why or you don't. If you don't,
I've never seen it.
Her name is Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
That yes. Her and
Yes. That pops to that's a special effect that even James Cameron himself can't top. What else came out? Prince of Thieves came out. Backdraft. Oh, Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful movie. Hook came out. Hudson Hawk. Wow, pretty good. Man.
Hudson Hawk, man.
Escape from LA, just like Godfather 3 here. No, I actually quite like Escape from LA. The only bad part is the special effects, but I still enjoy the movie. It's still got a lot of fun. I
love it. I think it's genius. Mm-hmm. Pam Grier's in it. Bruce Campbell's in it. Like, dude,
it's more Snake Plissken. There's
Snake Plissken. Your rules are really beginning to annoy me.
Yeah. Don't tell mom.
Don't tell mom the babysitter's
I love Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Christina Applegate was someone who I thought was great.
Yeah.
I have that movie on VHS. It's great.
I have not seen it.
Oh, it's
People
been, I have,
Stairs
you know.
came out too. It's like that's crazy.
Which
What a
one?
year for
Stairs, man,
movies!
that's
Holy
that's
shit!
a crazy
Yeah.
Which one
movie.
did you say, Sean?
People Under the Stairs.
Oh,
I love that movie.
Oh,
It's like-
good.
Whenever you go back to like the 80s, 90s, there was like a good movie out like every week, or at least every month.
Yeah.
There was some thing about that was great, that was great, that was great, that was great. Like now these days, I'm like, okay, there's like 2 or 3 movies I'm looking forward to this year, maybe. And that's it. And they're probably going to suck anyway.
I feel like you got something new every time, and I
Yeah.
think that's gone now. It's
Yeah.
like, and because a lot of these movies, like People Under the Stairs, I love that, and I grew up with it, and I watched it multiple times. It didn't set the world on fire. It's just
Right.
one of the movies that came out, but it offered something new and different that other movies didn't ape and copy, and other movies were daring. Like Cape Fear is cool.
Cape Fear.
And they were just trying to tell their own story, and sometimes being daring within that to tell that story. Now it's just like, like Gunpowder Milkshake is like an amalgam of like 10 different other movies you've seen before, right? So, yeah.
Cape
Out
Fear was a
for
remake.
Justice is 91. Out for Justice.
yeah, I
Oh
was
my
like the
God.
original Cape Fear, so I wasn't as enamored with the sequels. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still good though. Like
The
I
Doors?
Yeah, it's good. It's just
Yeah.
like everyone's like Cape Fear. I'm like, no.
oh yeah, the hand that rocks the cradle. Yeah, that was
Oh
another.
yeah.
I love this. John Carpenter's "Don't Tell Mom" movies that have been lit for 100 million sold.
Toy Soldiers.
Toy Soldiers, yeah.
Oh, Toy
Yeah.
Soldiers.
Also, Blue
Nice.
Lagoon, baby. Blue Lagoon.
Oh yes.
It's Return to the Blue Lagoon, actually, I think is the one that came out.
Oh, that's with Mila though, isn't it? Queen
That's
Mila.
with Mila, who's one of my girlfriends. I have a few.
Oh, she's actually it actually is mine. I've held her hand, so sorry.
I know you did. I saw that, and I was very upset. I'm gonna have to talk to her about that.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, you're my woman. So, Pacific Heights.
Heights, damn, yes.
That's actually, aside from Batman, my favorite Michael Keaton role. I love him in that. He's like, hi,
Yeah.
Carter Hayes. I just love the way he says Carter Hayes.
Yeah.
Carter Hayes is a great villain. It was awesome. Good death as well at the end.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I think we've kind of worn out the Showdown Little Tokyo talk anyway. Yeah, where does it rank then for you all in terms of like your favorite Brandon Lee movies? Is it like number 1, number 2? Is it for me? The Crow is number 1, and then this Rapid Fire. I'd say.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah.
John, no.
Yeah. I would say this is in the middle. Yeah.
Well, the Crow is a masterpiece on a different level, though.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the artwork I have here of the Crow? No.
I don't think so. Bring it out.
Try and not pull the computer off. Now, I remember I interviewed James O'Barr a few years ago for the site we talked about the Crow, and I met.
That's awesome.
It's called the Night Crew.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's really cool.
That is cool. That's awesome. We used to have like a big cardboard cutout from the Crow from the video store. When the VHS tapes came out, I bought the VHS tape. I got the soundtrack. I had the soundtrack on cassette tape, and then I rebought the soundtrack on CD for the Crow. And then when they had the thing, we actually got the stand, and my cousin Tiffany, we put it in her room, and it was really large, so it was like her whole entire door, and it was like where it's like all black with the white, and then he's in the middle. And it's like that was the shot, and like that was her entire door frame. Was that? It was really cool.
The Crow was so influential. Like if you think about it, Sting changed his entire look and his entire gimmick after that. Like he was the blonde, beach bum character, like the dude guy, and he grew out his hair. He put on the white makeup, and he was the Crow. He was known as the Crow Sting character. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy to see that it was that influential.
Are you talking about the guy who sings from The Police, or was there?
No.
I was like, I don't remember this at all.
No. In the WCW, and then he was in WWF for a very, 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 very minor thing, and then whatever, and then was gone. But yeah, he changed his image You can look him up if you don't know him. Just do Sting Wrestler, and you can see the different phases, and it was like completely different. Like he became the Crow. He had blonde hair, short blonde hair, like colored pattern little things on his eyes, and he was all colorful. And he's like, yeah, and he looked like Beach Boys tie dye kind of stuff. And then it went to like full black Scorpion. And he had like the Crow makeup and the long hair. You're like, dude, and he became the Crow. It was like literally the Crow.
But the shtick was the Crow too. That he would just appear somewhere.
He would appear in the rafters and stuff, and like he'd be like kneeling and all that.
And I think he literally had a crow as a pet for a while. Like I think.
Like a Coco Beware.
I think it was a literal. It was literal.
Yeah. Huh.
They keep talking about doing like a remake of The Crow, and thankfully it never happens. And I'm like, no, you know what? It's not going to be good, right? There are no filmmakers with enough talent working today to make as good a movie as it was back then. So no, people can argue all they want, but they're wrong. It's The Crow was perfect, and the fact that Brandon Lee passed away while it was made adds to the depth of the film as well, giving the extra tragedy. So just any of the scenes, like particularly towards the end, whenever he goes back to his grave and everything, I tear up every time watching it. And then Graham Revell's score, like that theme tune. I'm like, that's such a sad shit.
It can't rain all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's such heart to it, and the bad guys are awesome in it as well. And you got, of course, Michael Wincott, who's just amazing in everything. Is top dollar. For fuck's sake, die, will you? All right. Well, I think that's pretty much us. Ron says, "Awesome chat, guys. That was awesome.
Thank you so much."
So thank you, and we'll probably be back. So will we do the Billy Blanks one then next Friday then, and talk about the Showdown and Back in Action and some of these B-movie classics?
It's going to be hard to. I've got them all on VHS. I don't think I have a VHS thing that works. I'll have to find a way to rewatch all these because I owned every Billy, and I've seen Billy Blanks movies in the theater.
Really?
Like
wow. Well, lucky you. I never have.
Yep. Like Back in Action, I saw in the not Back in Action. Tough and Deadly, I saw in the theater. That's Roddy Piper. Well, Back in Action and Thing are Roddy Piper and
and then Talons of the Eagle. I think that was filmed here as well.
That's on DVD. I have that one.
Mm-hmm. So we can chat all about them. I mean, not that I would encourage such things, but I'm sure they may be on YouTube or somewhere else. But
I will.
The problem
check
is
with my friends.
Or check your local video store because the problem is they're not out here. That's the problem. It's like, what do you expect people to do if they're not available? So anyway, so Ron Down, love Graham's score for Two to Tango. That's it. All right. Well, thanks, guys, and we shall chat next week. And so happy 30th birthday to Showdown Little Tokyo, and R.I.P. Brandon Lee.